I'm fully prepared with everything I need for the Jay-Z documentary. The moment he sent that legal letter, I knew I had to let the world see who he really is. He and Diddy are cut from the same cloth. He just hides his arrogance and control behind a cleaner image. Our feud has lasted 20 years, and I know better than anyone what he's done in the shadows. I even suspect that so-called funeral bouquet wasn't Diddy's idea at all, but Jay-Z acting on his behalf. Back when Nicki Minaj posted that video of him wearing a pink wig, all I did was repost it, and he got so nervous he had his lawyers threaten me. In 2015, Nicki worked her ass off helping him build his platform, and he allegedly pocketed her $7.9 million in royalties. And then there's his fingerprints all over key incidents through the years, whether it's the elevator footage or the guest list at Diddy's parties. He was involved, clearly, but somehow he always walks away untouched. That's what he's best at, pulling strings behind the scenes while pretending to be spotless in public. And now that a corner of the darkness has been ripped open, I'm not stopping. Everything my team and I are doing isn't about attacking anyone. It's about making sure the truth can't be buried by him ever again.
He ain't answering the phone? He ain't answering the motherfucking phone. We had a black billionaire's lunch.
Black excellence, they're sitting there like, yeah. It's the billionaire brunch. Like,
I hate you, man.
And we here together, and we gonna keep staying together. We getting tighter.
Unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you this year. Yo, I feel like I'm normal again. Get me out of here.
Sean Carter aided and abetted or was directly involved. It's about to get real tense, and there's a lot of girls and boys who are still
in that, getting looked at in that way by white people, like Jay does, yeah, like I hope that shit didn't happen, but I'm like, damn, they turned the world real. Like people on a certain level have been fucking with him a certain way where he couldn't do no wrong for like 25 years straight. This is the first time he's not getting a pass with white media, like he can control black media because a lot of them either work or do business with him, but like, drink champs can't get him out of this one, and neither can Charlemagne. Because, those are the guys that hold him down no matter what he does anyway. So he got to get to People Magazine and Entertainment Tonight right now because they on his head. But the question is why? Like, why now? Because for me, I'd be like, yo, that's so ridiculous. Yo, take that to trial. He's not going to win. Let's get a deposition or something, So I don't know why they on his head so much, pause. But I never seen him, under this, I never seen him in this position to have to explain himself. Pause.
How you feel about the statement he came out with?
I mean, I didn't hear him say anything. I heard a piece of, like I said, I'm doing an interview, so I talk. I thought it was long. For a statement, I thought it was long, pause. But, I think right now, his silence is the worst thing for him if he is innocent. He needs to let people ask him questions, and he needs to be able to say his side of the story.
3 minutes ago, the internet exploded. No warning. No press conference. No polished billionaire statement. Just whispers turning into wildfire. Because when 50 Cent starts talking about private conversations with Sean Combs and somehow Jay-Z's name trends 5 seconds later, that's not coincidence. That's chaos. For decades, Jay-Z has been the untouchable one. The billionaire blueprint. The corporate king who moves in silence while everyone else crashes in public. But what happens when silence stops looking strategic and starts looking suspicious? Why is 50 suddenly hinting at receipts? Why are old interviews resurfacing? Why are insiders suddenly remembering things? And why does it feel like the most powerful man in hip-hop is choosing not to speak right now? Is this just rivalry? Is this timing? Or is this the moment the industry's most protected empire feels its first real crack? Because when private chats enter the conversation, somebody's reputation is about to take a hit.
And tonight,
we're unpacking every single layer. Stay with me. It's about to get uncomfortable. The problem with empires isn't how they're built. It's how they're protected. For over 2 decades, Jay-Z mastered the art of elevation. From Marcy projects to boardrooms. From street anthems to billion-dollar partnerships. Champagne brands. Tech investments. Sports agencies. Casino rumors. Political connections. The kind of network where one phone call can calm a headline before it trends. But here's the uncomfortable question no one wants to ask out loud. What happens when the people who were once inside the circle start talking? Because this isn't just about Sean Combs anymore. And it's definitely not just about 50 Cent trolling on Instagram. This feels coordinated, calculated, timed. The rivalry between 50 and Jay isn't new. It's been simmering since the early 2000s. Subtle jabs in interviews, competitive chart wars, coded lyrics, business moves disguised as coincidence. But lately, the temperature shifted. When 50 began openly questioning who knew what, and when, during the Diddy fallout, fans thought it was just another petty hip-hop moment. Until he started hinting at conversations. Private ones. Old ones. The kind that don't age well. Suddenly timelines were being re-examined. Old party footage resurfaced. Guest lists were screenshotted. Industry brunch photos turned into conspiracy boards. Every handshake looked strategic. Every smile looked rehearsed. And Jay? Silent. Not defensive. Not reactive. Silent. And in the world of billionaires, silence is either supreme confidence or strategic retreat. Remember, this is the same Jay-Z who survived the elevator scandal without saying much. The same mogul who turned criticism into partnerships. The same executive who rarely gives the media the satisfaction of panic. So, why does this moment feel different? Because this time, it's not bloggers speculating. It's peers. It's insiders. It's former allies speaking in half sentences and unfinished thoughts. When people like Jaguar Wright start revisiting old claims, when former associates question long-standing friendships, when ex-security personnel begin describing dynamics that didn't look balanced, it doesn't prove guilt, but it fuels doubt. And doubt spreads faster than facts. Add to that the tension surrounding the Super Bowl halftime politics, where rumors claimed that Jay allegedly wasn't eager to see 50 share the stage during the Super Bowl 56 halftime show, and suddenly old competitive wounds reopen. Then there's the subtle business narrative. Corporate Jay versus street loyalty 50. The billionaire who prefers boardrooms versus the mogul who still shows up in the hood. 2 different brands of power. 2 different philosophies. And right now, those philosophies are colliding publicly. Industry insiders are whispering that distancing from Diddy may not just be moral positioning, but risk management. That legal storms don't just drown one name, they splash everyone nearby. And when 50 keeps repeating that he was never really in that circle, it sounds less like shade and more like insurance. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. When a powerful figure falls, everyone starts checking receipts. Phone logs. Old messages.
Wright explained that Jay-Z is worse than Diddy. She explained how Jay-Z has done worse things than what Diddy did to Cassie to other females. And she said that she has the scars to prove it. She alleged that at one time Jay-Z attacked her and got it on film like Diddy did. And she alleged that this is why Jay-Z is totally pulling away from Diddy and you don't see him around. And it's been alleged for quite a while that Jay-Z is pulling away from Diddy because he doesn't want himself caught in the crossfire. I mean, you even have 50 Cent at this point talking about how Jay-Z is in hiding while this whole Diddy thing blows over. And you even have these accusations of Jay-Z being responsible for what happened to Cassie White. So I'm going to go ahead and roll you guys this clip of everything that Jag had to say about Jay-Z being worse than Diddy. And you guys let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Sean Carter is just as bad as the diddler. And I know that for a fact. I got the scars to prove it. You want to know what a box cutter feels like going into your skin and ripping you? I can tell you how it feels. Y'all ain't seen shit yet. That Cassie shit, that's nothing. I'm saying Sean Carter remembers everything he did to me and he's got it on tape. Just like Diddy. And they're gonna be crazy.
Event footage. Who attended what? Who endorsed who? Who stayed quiet? This isn't a courtroom yet. It's a court of public opinion. And in that arena, perception is everything. Jay-Z built a reputation on being 10 moves ahead. But if someone truly has conversations that contradict public narratives, if private tone doesn't match public posture, that's not just gossip. That's image damage. And billion-dollar brands don't survive image damage lightly. So the question isn't whether Jay-Z is guilty of anything. The question is, why does it feel like the walls are being tested? And who benefits most if they crack? Because when longtime rivals start sounding less like entertainers and more like whistleblowers, something bigger is shifting. And this might only be the beginning. And then came the part nobody expected. Not a press conference. Not a lawsuit update. Not even a cryptic tweet. Just sources. Anonymous. Unnamed. Conveniently terrified. According to multiple industry insiders, and you know how that phrase alone can shake the room, there were conversations that never made it to daylight. Messages exchanged during critical moments. Late-night calls. Strategic check-ins. Discussions about optics. About fallout. About damage control. Nothing confirmed, but enough to make people uncomfortable. Because when 50 Cent hinted that he had seen exchanges between Sean Combs and other major figures, social media did what it does best. It imagined the worst. Threads started forming. Why was Jay present at that event? Who funded that after-party? Why did certain brands pull back quietly months ago? Who knew before the headlines? Again, speculation. But speculation spreads faster than statements. One alleged insider claimed there were internal discussions about protecting legacies. Another anonymous source close to the situation claimed that certain business partners were monitoring reputational risk very closely. That's corporate language for, this could get expensive. Because this isn't just about music. It's about investment portfolios, luxury partnerships, sports agencies, tech ventures, global branding. When your image is worth billions, even rumors can cost millions. And here's where things get spicy. There were whispers that private investigators had been active, not to intimidate, but to prepare. To assess who might speak next. To anticipate narratives. To track digital leaks before they go viral. No proof. But the idea alone sent the internet into detective mode. People started revisiting old award show interactions. That yacht photo. That Rock Nation brunch clip. That moment on stage when Diddy patted Jay's back a little too comfortably. Suddenly, body language experts on TikTok had PhDs. And every slow-motion clip became evidence. Meanwhile, 50? Laughing. Posting. Hinting. Never fully saying anything direct, but saying just enough. That's the art of suggestion. He doesn't accuse. He implies. He lets the audience fill in the blanks. And blank spaces are dangerous. Because once public imagination gets involved, it becomes impossible to control the narrative. Some fans argue this is classic rivalry, strategic trolling at billionaire scale. Others believe it's bigger. That this is about power shifting. That certain alliances are cracking. That distancing from Diddy wasn't coincidence, but calculation. And here's the wildest part. No official charges have tied Jay-Z to anything criminal in this storm. Yet his name keeps surfacing. Why? Because proximity is powerful. And in the court of public opinion, proximity sometimes equals participation. Brands are quiet. Media outlets are cautious. Industry peers are choosing their words carefully. And Jay? Still silent. Which only makes people louder. The real question now isn't what's been proven. It's what's coming next. Because if even a fraction of these alleged messages ever saw daylight, it wouldn't just trend. it would detonate. And in an industry built on image, explosions leave permanent marks. And this is where things stop being entertaining and start being strategic. Because when billionaires get mentioned in controversy, it's not just gossip blogs watching. It's attorneys. It's board members. It's shareholders. Behind closed doors, in rooms you and I will never see, conversations are happening. Risk assessments, brand evaluations, crisis simulations. Not because something has been proven, but because perception alone can move markets. And if there's one thing powerful men understand, it's timing. Industry analysts have started whispering about containment, about how distancing narratives form before legal narratives do, how silence can be a shield, but it can also look like surrender if it lasts too long. And that's where the tension is building. Because right now, Jay-Z hasn't stepped forward personally. No sit-down interview, no viral rebuttal, no controlled statement beyond legal channels, just distance. Meanwhile, 50 Cent continues playing the long game. A comment here, a smirk there, a carefully worded post that never directly accuses, but always nudges the audience toward suspicion. And let's be real, 50 knows how the internet works. He doesn't need to leak anything explosive. He just needs to suggest that something explosive exists. That's enough to make fans question everything. Now add in the larger storm around Sean Combs, investigations, lawsuits, media frenzy, and suddenly anyone who ever shared a stage, a yacht, or a business deal becomes part of the narrative. Fair or not, that's how public fallout spreads. Some insiders believe this moment could reshape alliances permanently. That old friendships are being quietly reevaluated. That private loyalty doesn't always survive public pressure.
Exactly what Jay-Z's accuser is saying, that even though she dropped the lawsuit, she still stands by what she says, and she only dropped it because of harassment and the fact that she's terrified of Jay-Z. She says that Jay-Z is allegedly bullying her into saying that her accusations were false. In fact, in new legal documents, she is claiming that she was recently approached outside of her home and cornered by two people who told her they were investigators working for one of Jay-Z's lawyers. She claims they tried to get her to sign an affidavit stating that her art claims against Jay-Z were false, but she refused. Jane Doe also claims the alleged investigators asked her if her attorney, Tony Busby, sought her out as a client and offered her money to pursue false claims against Jay-Z, two allegations she says she denied. He says this alleged confrontation left her intimidated and terrified, wondering how they found her when her identity had remained anonymous in media reports and legal proceedings. He also claims that her parents were approached by two investigators asking similar questions about Busby and her R story. In the new documents, she reveals she decided to drop the claim because she was frightened by the reaction from Jay-Z and his supporters. He says she feared she would be publicly outed and subjected to public.
Will Diddy start snitching?
He better. But the only thing I'm interested in him talking about is everything he knows about Kathy Coriana White. See, I know you know what happened to Corey. Diddy? I know that. You and Jay-Z. Down in Vegas in Tao with Claudia. Why don't you just talk about Kathy? That might help. That might help a lot. Kathy Coriana White, Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died 24 hours after she announced that she was going public with their relationship and the baby while he was married to Beyonce.
Now,
Was
Jack,
it an aneurysm, Diddy? Or are you the one who paid the same coroner that you... Mm. Oh, Diddy, you...
Others say this is temporary. That once the legal dust settles, the industry machine will reset like it always does. But something feels different, because this isn't 2005. This is the era of screenshots, digital footprints, archived live streams, and internet memory that never forgets. If there were private conversations, hypothetical, alleged, unverified, and they ever surfaced, the damage wouldn't just be personal. It would be corporate, endorsements, equity deals, brand partnerships, board seats, all vulnerable to perception shifts. And here's the twist nobody's saying out loud. Sometimes the biggest battles in hip-hop aren't fought on tracks. They're fought in silence, in strategy, in who speaks first, and who waits. Right now, 50 is speaking indirectly. Diddy is under the microscope. And Jay-Z? He's choosing stillness. Is that confidence? Is that calculation? Or is that a billionaire waiting for the right moment to move? Because if history has shown us anything, it's that empires rarely collapse overnight. They crack quietly first. And whether this is just noise, or the beginning of something much bigger, one thing is clear, the industry is watching very closely.
How close was Diddy and Jay-Z? They was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball, they wasn't playing baseball, they wasn't playing football, and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his ass, and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay-Z. Now, I don't know what kind of statement, and I can't say, I wish I could say half a homo, but I know I can't say it, but I don't know what kind of half a homo that is, and you trying to say that you're not close to somebody. You coming on stage, patting them on their ass, and then you making a broad statement to the public, can't nobody call me Sean but Sean Carter. And I heard Jay-Z said the same thing about them. But they were so close that they had matching white girls together. Because when they used to see each other, they used to say, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? He'd be like, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? So I guess that's a certain type of closeness.
I ain't know anything about that, man. I ain't know about, Jay touching his, ass. I got to go see the video. I ain't hear about that.
Come on, man. Everybody's seen that. 50 even pointed it out. Excuse me. When they was in ATL on stage. Remember when 50 bum rushed the stage with them?
Yeah, I think I recall that.
When Puff came on stage, first thing he did was pat Jay-Z on that. But I forgot. That's your favorite rapper.
Hey, him and Pac is 1A, 1B.
These guys are, man. They'll cause situations and cause problems, and then they'll forget what they done because they on a whole nother atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit that he did, you got to understand, like now he'll say that they're kids because he's raising kids of his own. You understand? But how would you like it that if Blue Ivory, 15, 16 years old, 17, 18 years old, dating a nigga in his early 30s? You're not going to go for that. No matter what she came through in Hollywood. But you got to understand, guys who was around there, we didn't know Jay-Z them ages. We didn't know these cats' age. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't having no beards and nothing like that. They was wearing low cuts. You understand? Clean face. I would have never believed when Jay was coming around the block, scooping up the young girls and stuff like that he was 30 years old. If they 17, 18, 16 years old and they 22, you thinking they 22, 23, something like that, 24 years old? They mom and them need to check them. They daddy and them need to check them. But that's not that far off. But for somebody to be 30 years old in their 30s and they dealing with kids 16 years old, 17, 18 years, now that's a problem. That's an issue. And now he see that because he's raising kids. And he got a young daughter. I think he got another daughter that he didn't claim and now he claiming her. These cats was doing a whole lot of stuff that people in the industry won't speak on. And then now that you're speaking on it and it's becoming, whereas that you can get on YouTube and you could talk about this shit and say what you seen or say what you heard, you understand, or what you know. Some people look at it being a problem. But these cats ain't street cats. They entertainers.
So now the real question isn't what was said. It's what hasn't been said. Because when names like Jay-Z, 50 Cent, and Sean Combs start circling the same storm, that's not random. That's history colliding with timing. Is this just a long-standing rivalry playing out in public? Or is this the moment when carefully protected narratives start slipping? If there really are conversations behind the scenes, if there really were strategic moves happening while headlines were being managed, if silence really is a calculated decision, then the next move won't be loud. It'll be precise. So let me ask you something. Why now? Why is pressure building at the same time the industry feels unstable? Why are old clips resurfacing? Why are former allies suddenly talking? And why does it feel like someone is testing the strength of an empire that's never been tested this publicly before? Do you think this is just 50 trolling at billionaire level? Or do you believe there's more happening behind closed doors than we're being told? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't hold back, because the comment section is about to turn into its own investigation. And if new developments surface, if statements are made, if receipts appear, if silence finally breaks, you already know we're covering it first. So hit like if you think this is bigger than rap politics. Subscribe if you believe power always protects itself until it can't.
That Jay-Z loves money more than hip-hop. And he pointed out that Jay-Z performed at Tom Brady's Hall of Fame ceremony, but he didn't perform in any Hip-Hop 50 events.
I mean, Jay-Z's on a whole nother level. Like, I mean, you know, he's like, but you know what I like about 50? 50's on a whole nother level, but he's still approachable. You still get to meet the people and you know, Jay got to remember the people that made him. You know, I'm not saying I don't got respect. I respect Jay-Z, 50, used to respect, you know, Diddy, but all that crazy shit going on. But, you know, I always respected him because I looked at, for New York, those were like the, you know, the guys. You know what I'm saying? The guys with the most money and the most influence. So with Jay is like, when the last time you haven't seen Jay. So I think people are just going to say that. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I mean, Jay, you know, you got to remember, he didn't want 50 at the Super Bowl. That was crazy. I'm like,
wait, Jay didn't want 50 at the Super Bowl?
You didn't know that? Yeah, he didn't want.
I remember Eminem pushed for it.
That was some hater shit. Yeah,
I remember Eminem was like, I'm not going to do it unless 50 does it. I heard that.
Yeah,
but I didn't know that Jay was trying to stop it.
I don't think Jay. I don't know. 50 never told me that, but I don't think Jay wanted him there. I don't know
because of what some of the.
I mean,
the
you know, it's competition. You got to think 50 always been competition for Jay. Remember, I'm about $1. What the fuck is 50 Cent?
That was a long time ago.
That was what, 9? What was that? 9?
But after that, they did a song together. Remember the whole,
of course, but 50 was always competition for niggas. Then remember Jay said, yo, 50's coming. He told Siegel and them and Memphis Bleak and all them.
Yeah.
And come on, 50's like, he's on a whole nother level. You got to remember, he came after niggas. He came after Jay and Rockefeller. G-Unit came. And people might shit on G-Unit, but with Eminem, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, nobody has outsold us, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody has.
And says to people, which I will never say, is he says, it's important for me to be a billionaire, you know, because black people need to be billionaires. And why does specifically he, at that time, I've had this conversation with white money people when they go, you know, it's important that Jay-Z becomes a billionaire. And I go, why? And they said, because he wants to open up a casino. You know, he wants to open up this. He should have an alcoholic brand. He needs to have a casino. He needs to have this. And you're like, why the fuck does anybody need a casino? Like another fucking casino
money
in this world.
And it makes it very possible for people to launder money all day.
Yeah. So like, why, even the fact that you want to become so powerful, then you're not saying because he needs to build schools for black people in black neighborhoods. It's because he wanted to build casinos for black people.
For them to keep wasting their money and then for him to keep getting them overpriced merchandise. It's a rat trap.
Yeah.
All of it is. The sad part is that hip hop has now turned itself over to this greed machine.
And turn notifications on. Because in this story, the next move could change everything. Stay alert. This isn't over.